Good evening, my dear brothers and sisters. My name is Nelson Gill, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about love, life, relationships, and the utmost important, Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the Alpha and the Omega. Um, Anyways, God bless y'all. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. May the Lord show you his grace and mercy and favor. I just want to get on here and share some words of wisdom and encouragement. Um, if you're following me here on YouTube, you probably know that I have been on a journey of, reading the whole entire Bible. And right now I'm on the book of Job, which is, I mean, it has been such a tremendous blessing. And um, I was a bit nervous getting into it because, knowing the contents of it, you know, a perfect man who was blameless and righteous, and the Lord said it himself, and everything was taken away from him. And so, needless to say, I think the title for this video is going to be called Gleaning from Job. And there were just some some revelations, some insight that I wanted to share with you guys as I have been reading through this book. I made it to chapter 15, and in the beginning portion of this book, Job is afflicted with boils and, with a trial and tribulation. And he is, going to his friends for comfort and for love. And the dialogue between them two is very, very burdening and very challenging, because the friends are trying to be there for him in his time of affliction, and his deepest down, most depressed time, and they're trying to help figure out what's going on, what's wrong. And so they accuse him of doing something wrong. They accuse his children of doing wrongdoing. And in the midst of this, Job is going back and forth with them and telling them, like, uh, like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything, profoundly evil. And that's a very interesting thing, because you kind of know when you're walking outside the will of God, and you kind of know when you're walking in the will of God. You know when you're not doing the right thing, and you know when you are doing the right thing. Anyhow, that's not the point I was trying to make here. Anyways, so something I want to share as I've been reading through this text, something I definitely feel like it's very important to note, is being careful where you go to for comfort, or who you go to for comfort. And something that I notice, which is not just a one time, but something that is a great mistake that many people do, including myself, that have done, is going to our peers for counsel and for for encouragement, which sounds kind of crazy. But anyways, I'm gonna further reinforce my point here. There is a passage in First Kings where Rehoboam I believe it was King Rehoboam. It was the son after Solomon, and he was just became king, and he had something. He had something to do with, I think, taxing people, or something to do with running the kingdom. And so he went to the wise, the elders, and then he went to his peers, and his peers gave him some wicked counsel, and ended up being a mistake that he made. And so back to Job. Job, you know, he's confiding, and he's sharing his heart with his friends, and here they are just accusing him of wrongdoing, and that this is his fault somehow. Um, and it's interesting because they're both trying to speculate what is happening or what is going on, and they both don't have a clue. Um, Even though intuitively Job knew that um, he didn't do anything to provoke um, this misery and this depression and this sickness. Um, However, what I found very, very, very interesting was, though in his time of affliction, he would still bless God, and he would still cry out to God no matter the circumstance. And he wouldn't curse God, but he would be very honest, which is very, very critical thing when it comes to prayer. He was being very honest about how he felt to the Lord. There's a scripture that says, "Cast your cares and your burdens onto the Lord because He cares for you." And I think that's another thing you could glean off of Job is, the importance about being honest in your prayer life. That's something that I think that is very important and can lead to something very, some very great breakthroughs, and draw you even closer. God gives grace to the humble, but He resists the proud. And there are times where, you know, you could you could theologically know the answer to a situation, and you may approach God in that way, but deep down there is some very intricate things that you know head knowledge just is not going to uh, avail an answer or any type of um, relief. But anyways, so yeah, so one another thing that you could glean was, despite the discomfort and the tragedy and the trial, one, he still worshiped God, and he would remember who God is in the midst of all of this. And and Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean to your own understanding." And that's kind of like where Job is kind of at, as I'm reading through this, is that he's putting his trust in God despite the circumstance that he's in right now. And man, that's a whole word right there, even for myself. Um, and so yeah, so basically, what I wanted to get on here is just say, like, be careful who you confide to. you know, there is some serious assignments towards the chosen one's life, the called one's life, to try to cause doubt, unbelief, unfaithfulness, and um, discouragement to people's lives. And the adversary will use just about anyone. And an example of that is Peter. I mean, Peter, you know, he was rebuking Jesus. He said, "No, Lord, like you ain't going up on that cross." And Jesus said, "I rebuke you, Satan." And sometimes it is what it is. And that, I guess that's what makes this walk sometimes so lonely for people. It's like, you don't, who do you know to relent to, you know? But I tell you what, God is always there, and He hears our prayers. And don't be so prideful to not come to the Lord about everything that you're going through. Don't be so prideful to not share how afflicted you are feeling in this very moment. And in the book of Psalms, David expresses himself so honestly, so raw. And so that's my word of encouragement. That's my word of wisdom for anybody watching this. You know, quit or not quit, but uh try not to find comfort in your peers. I think that's definitely a major premise of this book. And I'll definitely share, I have made so much errors in going to my peers for counsel and advice. I mean, it has just been wow. I feel like I just got hit in the chest right now just speaking that out loud. But yeah, so I just want to encourage you to just lean on the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all ways acknowledge Him, and He shall make every crooked path straight. So I pray the Lord may grant you favor, blessing, peace, a peace that surpasses all human understanding, and may He quicken your mortal body. God bless. Peace.